Gil, the other topic that I think has come up over the last few weeks that I wanted to get your insight on, because of your candidness and because of your experience in the NBA, a lot of coaches, great coaches, in my opinion, have been let go because they didn't reach expectations of winning a championship. And we all know how hard it is just to win one championship. And whether it's Bud, Doc, who's won one, Monty Williams, who's gotten the Suns and helped build a culture there, gotten the Suns to the finals. He's getting let go. Nick Nurse, who won a championship 4 years ago, he's being let go. In your opinion, what makes a great NBA coach? What is the separator? Obviously, having a top 5 player helps, but what makes a great NBA coach?
The backing by the guy who hired you, which, like these guys are getting fired because of cowardness on the guy who's bringing in the talent, right? You want to blame the coach for the decisions you're making, and you're not going to fire yourself. So obviously the easiest target is the coach. Now, when it comes to coaching, the real question is, what is the expectations? Like, what are the real expectations? Like, who was hurt? Did the players develop? Like, if I'm hiring a coach and I'm looking at my team, my roster, if I'm not a winning team, I know this team is not that good. Your job is to develop these guys and make them better, right? Once they get to that point, then we can start moving forward. But, you're talking about championship coaches being fired 1-2 years. You got coaches of the year that's fired a year later. Like, who's going to replace this? Who's replacing what this person's done? The resume of these coaches that you're firing. You think someone's going to come in and do it better than they did? I just think that it's cowardness from the general managers trying to blame the chef for not cooking up the gourmet meal when you picked all the items. And right. I just think it's just a coward way of just saying that you messed up by firing these coaches, because you're making it seem there's no such thing as a great coach if we're going by the standards of, he won a championship, he's fired. Coach of the year, he's fired. Like, what makes a great coach? That is the real question for some of these GMs. What makes a great coach? What are we basing this off of now? Because obviously it has nothing to do with winning, because all the winning coaches are being fired.
Yeah. So you're saying that basically the GMs are giving the coaches grade A Publix chuck roast and expecting to get a Wagyu ribeye on the other end, and when it's not a Wagyu ribeye, they're blaming the coaches. That's what you're saying. I don't want to put words in your mouth.
I won a championship this year, right? Everyone got better. General manager, what did you do? Oh, nothing? Okay. Right. Everyone got better but us. Okay. All right. Giannis got hurt. Okay. Middleton went out. Like, you know what I mean? So there's factors that factor in. And, if you're a general manager, like you know what happened, but you're not like, the pressure comes on you. You think you need to do something. What you do is you fire the coach. That's how it always happens, right? When, this is more of a realistic thing. And, when you look at someone like Pop, that is exactly how you're supposed to treat a coach, right? There's down years. I don't expect him to win. Now we got this guy and now he can build this team. I don't think the coaching has that same protection.
Yeah.
Right. So you're going out there, you're winging it. Frank Vogel won a championship, year and a half later, he's gone. Like, this just seems pointless to be a coach, because you're not safe. What you can win 2 championships, then lose 2 years straight, and then you're out. Like, they appreciate you.
Is some of this we talk about the media climate, but also like the fan climate? Because like you mentioned, Vogel, Bud's like this, won a championship. Monty didn't win a championship, but got to the finals, first team in the West. It does feel like it's like you have one bad series and all of a sudden it's like off with his head. And that isn't just the people around the team. That's a lot of that is the fans. Do you feel like that's gotten worse, or it's always been like this? We just see it more.
I think it's always been like this, but I think now that top tier are being chopped off, like, we're really like, wait, hold on. I remember who was the first one? He won was it Casey? He won Coach of the Year and got fired.
George Karl, Lionel Hollins, and Dwayne Casey all got Coach of the Year. At least two of them got fired after getting Coach of the Year. Casey may have had 1 year in between, but I'm not sure on that. But I know all three of them got within either that offseason or within 6 months were fired. All three of them. Yeah,
and it's like, what are you really telling the next coach? What are you really telling the players? What are you really telling the organization? This coach got rewarded as the best coach, and I didn't appreciate it and fired him, right? So it's really one of those things. Is like, as a coach, what are you doing? Right? We know Darvin Ham probably is going to be out after next year or the year after. That's just guaranteed, right? There's no secret there. Luke Walton goes to Sacramento on a sorry team. Would you expect him to do what he did with the Golden State Warriors when Curry went down? That's your expectations. That's unrealistic, right? So it just seems like
I was talking because you brought up player development, and I think it's a really good point in terms of the expectation of a coach. Are the players getting better with you on the watch? And I was talking to a really smart guy who's worked in the NBA, works in media now, and we were talking about the next innovation in the NBA, right? Strategies changed defensively. Strategies have changed a ton offensively. It's like, okay, we get the math equation now. We want to shoot threes, layups, get to the foul line. We're talking about the next innovation and how you exploit market inefficiencies. And he actually said this. He said that the next innovation is building great shooters, is player development, building great players, but building great shooters. And to me, this is part of what makes Miami and Spo so unique, is because that's basically what they've done now since LeBron and D-Wade left. They've just found guys who are tough and intelligent and love the game, and then turned them into really good NBA players. And so on the margin, they've gotten a lot better, which has allowed them now to compete year after year, even if their roster on paper doesn't look like the most talented roster.
Yeah, there's a, even when we played, Spo, like, he was developing. Like when we first got into the NBA, there was no development coaches like that. It was you. Like when I came to Orlando, that was a whole different world. But man, y'all got chefs, y'all got nutritionists, y'all got everything over here. Like I didn't have this before. When you talk about Miami, they were already already above everyone else in developing their own players. Same with Phoenix Suns, right? They were ahead of the curve when it came to developing the players. But at the end of the day, the players you are drafting, you are putting on your team, got to be willing to, right? You can, in an era where players are shooting more threes and layups, it's not translating to better basketball, better shooters, right? You still got the same great shooters, but for the rest of them, it's like, why are you shooting, right? Well, why are you taking 6 threes? You're not that guy. Like I'm looking at the Lakers, like, where's our shooters? Like, you're passing to this guy. This guy can't shoot for nothing. Like, what do you guys do all day? Like, I used to shoot till my hands cracked and was bleeding. Like, what do you do all day? You have LeBron James, Anthony Davis, right? You're supposed to shoot threes. That means you should just sit in the gym, get on a gun or a coach, and shoot thousands of shots. You should come out here. All these are gone. These are gone. The tips are gone. You should have Band-Aid. I should be able to see players with Band-Aids. And that's how I know you're a shooter. You got Band-Aids on your tip. Oh, man, he's been in the gym a long time. I don't see that. Like, so we can say we're going to turn these guys into shooters all you want, but you alone, unless you're sitting there 4, 5, 6 hours shooting thousands of shots and putting yourself in that situation, because when these guys go in a summer, if they don't have a great summer workout or a great summer plan, that's not translating to nothing.
I will say it's similar to golf. If you have a bad golf swing and you go hit a bunch of golf balls every day, you're not going to get better. Some of it is, when I say building better shooters, I don't just mean the reps. Some of it is just breaking down the basic forms. And that's where potentially you could build a shooter.